A new WWE signing plus so much more. We're going to talk about it right here on the Ango Show. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a big one, but don't forget, we do got a giveaway at 100,000 subscribers. So if you want a chance to win, you should probably click subscribe now. All right, we're just going to kind of jump right into it. Stone Cold Steve Austin potentially coming back to WWE. Obviously, this is a very interesting topic, and we've talked about this before because of CM Punk coming back. And obviously, that to me was always a dream match. I was creating content around WWE 13. I remember it like it was yesterday because of the great potential build this match can have. Now, granted, yes, they're both older now, but I still want it because I like to suspend disbelief sometimes, and that's essentially what you're doing when you're watching wrestling. So Stone Cold Steve Austin was actually talking about this recently with ESPN. They were asking him about potentially stepping back in the squared circle, and he says that he never would get in the ring again unless the stars align. And for some reason, somehow they all did. He headlined the night one of WrestleMania, and he said he would never thought he would do that. So if you had told me when I retired in 2003, I'd said you are crazy. So I'm not going to sit here and say no to anything because you never say never in this crazy business of sports entertainment. Look, guys, like obviously CM Punk's in the company, right? Stone Cold Steve Austin is in the company. This feels like a no-brainer. I don't know how else to say this, right? Like, this is a match that's going to satisfy different generations of fans, but also most importantly, this is a match that, like, it doesn't even have to be the greatest wrestling match. It just has to be great with storytelling, and I think a lot of that could be made up for it. Obviously, as a CM Punk fan and a Stone Cold Steve Austin fan, I want this match. It is strange that even in 2024, this is something that I actually look forward to. But I also think it's important that WWE does deliver some of these matches because you got to remember, Sting and Undertaker never went down, and I feel like they dropped the ball with that. So the fact that never happened is actually really sad and unfortunate. You don't want the same thing to be said here about Stone Cold Steve Austin and CM Punk. That's the big thing, right? Like, I am one of those guys where I believe once in a lifetime it should happen. I never thought John Cena and The Rock would happen. Then it happened. Then it happened again and again and again and again and again and again. Okay, obviously that's an exaggeration, but you get my point. I don't want WWE to miss out on these what-if scenarios. The Undertaker and Sting will probably never, ever happen, and I don't want that to happen here. Nonetheless, we'll keep it moving, ladies and gentlemen. WWE has some major plans for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Grayson Waller has revealed on X today that the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view will, in fact, have the Grayson Waller effect on the show. Which is interesting that they decided not to have him on a specific match for the pay-per-view, but also at the same time, too, I think it is important that we do talk about the fact that he is going to have Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes on the Grayson Waller effect. And I think it's actually a smart decision, but let's just make a bold prediction. You know, we've covered this on the channel before where the country of Australia is interested in having The Rock on the show. I think it's going to happen. I think The Rock and Roman Reigns interrupt. I think they do it. I think they have some sort of storyline here which sets up night one of WrestleMania, which is the tag team match, which I feel like it's inevitable. What's even really more interesting here is the fact that Roman Reigns does not actually have a match for Elimination Chamber, which I think is a cop-out. To be honest with you, I do think it's a cop-out because he is going on, like, he's got this most incredible record ever. But ultimately, WWE has Grayson Waller doing the Grayson Waller effect. I have no problem with him doing a talk show segment because at the end of the day, that is what Grayson Waller does. This way, he doesn't actually have to lose on a pay-per-view in his home country, but also he's going to be with the top stars, which Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes is interesting. I'm seeing a lot of wild theories on social media about Seth Rollins potentially turning on Cody Rhodes. I might have to do a deep dive on that for another video because that is something I would actually be really upset about. But nonetheless, this is like a really dope thing for Elimination Chamber. If you are a fan of the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, especially in Australia. This to me is like a no-brainer. It makes sense. You should do it. And then the hype obviously continues for WrestleMania. And guys, we have a shocking return for AEW. QT Marshall is headed back to the company. Fightful Select had reported a very interesting report today because they've reported that Marshall is returning as Vice President of Creative and Talent. In fact, he is not planned to return as an in-ring talent. He has yet to start back, and he has been given permission to wrestle outside of AEW. This is the most mind-boggling thing I have seen because QT Marshall left AEW, launches Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling, which is with Cody Rhodes' sister. And, there's rumors that he might go to AAA. He might sign with TNA. There's rumors he might go to NWA. There's rumors he might be a coach at NXT. None of that happens. Nobody really knows the real reason why he actually even left AEW. But it didn't take long at all. And look, Tony Khan, he spoke very highly of QT Marshall. So it's not shocking to me per se that, they would invite him back and allow him to come back and being vice president of creative and stuff like that. That's cool. I like QT Marshall. I think this is a good thing for AEW for him to be involved. I think most importantly for AEW, it's all about people being on the same page. That's how I look at it. I look at it as everybody has to be on the same page. That's where that's what this company needs. This company needs to have everybody on the same page with the same idea of where they want to creatively go. You got to have cohesiveness there. I think that is the most important aspect of this all because QT Marshall, he was there for a very long time. He was there from the beginning. He understood what AEW's vision was. AEW's vision has kind of changed a little bit throughout time, but at the end of the day, the more cohesiveness, the better it is for consistency across all three shows, which is obviously what we want. It's obviously a big part of how we view the show and watch the show. So I have no problem with him coming back. I do find it interesting that he didn't land elsewhere. I thought he wanted to wrestle. So it makes sense that he could still wrestle while working for AEW. But in terms of AEW, he's not going to be wrestling on AEW television, and that's okay either. Either way, I think he's going to be fine working as vice president of creative, and just hopefully they keep it up, man. Hopefully they have an idea of what they want to accomplish and where they want to go. And I think from there it could lead to really good things. But yeah, I didn't expect that so soon. It is a little bit weird because it happened so soon. But nonetheless, guys, QT Marshall's back in AEW. Don't forget we got the giveaway at 100,000 subscribers, so you're definitely not going to want to miss that chance to win. With that being said, I'll see you next time. Peace.